In order to respond in a circumstantial way to food and nutritional shocks affecting the most vulnerable households, the public authorities often have to implement national plans for response. These PNRs, developed under the leadership of the Executive Secretariat of the National Council for Food Security, enable the state of Senegal and its technical and financial partners to provide timely support to the affected populations. This support can also include livestock by mobilizing food aid that the state and its partners provide to communities affected by food shocks, for example.
After several years of action that has often put efforts in humanitarian issues by providing circumstantial support to vulnerable households, the new way of addressing food insecurity is to shift from the humanitarian specific responses to an economic answer.
To avoid getting into these situations of continuous response and assistance, the project New Resilient Territories (NTR) want to prevent food and nutritional insecurity. We must have a preventive approach rather than a defensive one. The NTR project is a special sub-program of the National Program for Food Security and Resilience, PNASA. The PNASA aims to contribute to the sustainable improvement of the food and nutritional security of households, especially the most vulnerable, as well as their resilience capacities by 2022.
How to protect efficiently vulnerable households against food insecurity? We may get rid of permanent emergency plans by building a structural response to this permanent issue. It is about to produce enough food products and allow vulnerable households to establish their own food stocks.
For the effective implementation of this innovation, the SEC-NSA, with the support of the United Nations Development Programme (UNDP), has commissioned a feasibility study.
What we can say is that these populations live in permanent assisted situations. We have to change the way we intervene.
First of all, it is necessary to delineate the new territories whose resilience we seek to build. This new delimitation is based on the 15 livelihood zones, ZME. 3 components form the backbone of the NTR: the System of Information on Territories Resources, SIRT, the mobile units for the provision of agricultural services, UMSA, and the Resilient Family Farms, EFR.
The area has biophysical resources, but there is a real problem of cultural awareness. People have resources in terms of livestock, but they are not enterprising.
On the field, this study revealed the many challenges that communities face and their ability to respond. To cope with the many difficulties they face, households develop various resilience strategies.
I planted millet during this rainy season, as well as corn, coffee, but unfortunately we did not harvest anything. The rain stopped very early.
The farms of the market gardening perimeters of the women are also adopted by the women to not only stock up on vegetables, but also to sell the surplus to buy rice or other food staples.
We are a group of 145 women from the village who are committed to fight against malnutrition and hunger by setting up these market gardening perimeters. Currently, we produce all kinds of vegetables. Part of the harvest is sold and the rest is used to improve our meals at home. In spite of everything, we have a lot of difficulties with the lack of water.
Their basic means, unfortunately, do not allow to increase yields, and out of this situation of food insecurity in which households still face, the NTRs present are an effective and sustainable solution. NTRs will protect against food insecurity and sustainably strengthen the resilience of vulnerable populations.
The new resilient territories NTR is mainly about three components. The first component is the information system on local resources, the SIRT. The second component is the resilient family farms, EFR. And the third component is the mobile unit of agricultural service delivery, UMSA. These are the three components of the new resilient territories that will definitely and efficiently help to fight against food insecurity.
SIRT offers an iterative knowledge integration platform by, for example, superimposing a layer of biophysical data, soil types, water availability on social information, population, social forces involved, etc., and economic data, consumption habits, and market behavior of agricultural products.
Les exploitations familiales résilientes.
Resilient family farms is designed as one household for 1 hectare in average. On this hectare, we should have some water all the time because we cannot continue to rely only on the rain. This is not viable. On this farm too, you absolutely need energy. We have several sources of energy, the solar in particular. You need to promote several production systems to minimize risk. If you have some cereals, you also need small remnants, goats, sheep. Even in poultry, you have to diversify. Why don't we make Guinea fowl? It is an eminently African species that is not sufficiently exploited. Finally, mobile units. Mobile units are economic entities run by young people. It is also a way to maintain them in their territories, their villages, by offering them job opportunities and revenues. These young people have to be properly and well trained. This is a really relevant way on how our countries could get rid of permanent food insecurity by building resilient households and resilient territories.
Parce qu'on aura construit des terroirs résilients.
Effective implementation of NTR provides an economic response to a humanitarian and social issue. This will contribute to the sustainable improvement of household food and nutrition security, which contributes to the creation of a better environment and better living conditions for the populations. This is what will make people, especially young people, find an interest in staying in the rural areas.